All right, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Come on in the room. It's time for the refreshing. Happy Monday. Can't stop my shine. I've been knocked down, but I rise every time. I don't own the rights to this song. Storms can't break me. They just sharpen my mind. Ain't no mountain too high, no valley too high. I'm a woman on a mission. Watch me claim what's mine. Good morning, Evangelist Monica. I always have to ask if I'm coming in clear. Let me know. Can't stop my shine. I carry weight they said I couldn't hold. Turned all my bruises into bars of gold. They tried to write me out like my story was done. Come on and tag someone this morning. But I've been my own chapters, I'm the chosen one. Had tears on my pillow, doubt in my chest. But God put a fire, said I'm built for the test. Now I walk in my purpose. Come on in the room this morning. Every step is a victory. I'm turning it around. I've been knocked down. Good morning, Prophet Stephanie. Good morning. Good morning. Storms can't break me. They just sharpen my mind. Ain't no mountain too high. I'm excited this morning. I'm a woman on a mission. Watch me claim what's mine. Come on in. Come on in. Get your coffee. I got mine. You can't stop my shine. I see my sisters we've been carrying. Come on, tag some good morning, Apostle Cheryl. When we dance in the rain, no chains on our dreams, no limits in sight. We gon' build up the future. We gonna give them a few more minutes. Get the ladies in the room. Just surviving, baby. I'm gon' thrive. My hustle got wings, my vision alive. From the ashes I rose, turn my scars into flame. Now the world gonna remember my name. I've been knocked down, but I rise every time. We rise every time. Storms can't break me. They just sharpen my mind. Ain't no mountain too high, no valley too wide. I'm a woman on a mission. Watch me claim what's mine. Can't stop my shine. Dreams don't die, they just wait to be. Come on and tag someone this morning. Get them in this room. I know it's early. We are the only ones up with the chickens, people. Welcome to the refreshing. Come on in the room. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Elder Nisa. All right. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the refreshing. I'm excited. We had a great time on yesterday morning. We have 31 days of rebuilding, refreshing, recalibration, all of those things, right? To get us back on track, back into alignment. So let's just do a recap on yesterday. How many of you loved what we talked about yesterday? I mean, it to me, it went straight to the heart. So we talked about yesterday, we talked about the first day. Why did we
or when did we last feel fully like ourselves? And we put that in the chat. But yesterday, who was I before I drifted? Who were you before you drifted? And describe her. And we talked about those things. But yesterday, I had you put some things in the chat. Does anybody remember what we did on yesterday when we talked about her and who she is and describe her and what she did, what she loved, what lifted her up? We talked about who you were before you drifted, describe her, what she loved. We talked about the things that we loved. And when I say she, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. The things that we love, the things that lifted us up, the things that built us, and we slowly drifted away from that. What are some of the things that made you laugh? And we said be real specific about it and be tender with ourselves, because sometimes when I talk to different people, mainly women, they tell me I'm really hard on myself. And yesterday we were tender with ourselves. We took a step back to look at our lives, to see those things that really, really impacted us in a good way, in a positive way, those things that built us up, those things that encouraged us, those things that made us laugh. And we had some fun yesterday, and some people said it was nature, some people said it was watching the sunrise, some people said it was the cartoons. I mean, it was different things that made people laugh, to made them feel whole, and to feel that warmness come back into our hearts again, because we can be so busy doing other things for different people that we tend to forget the things that bring us joy. Okay, so and then the homework, who done theirs, it's gonna take a while. Like I said, you should really, really start on it, but I don't want you to I don't want to rush through these 31 days. So we were told to write to ourselves in a way that we would write to a woman that we loved and invite her on in these 31 days and really impact yourself. Write to yourself like you would write to your bestie, the person that you love, and really invite her into this refreshing process. Invite that girl back, that girl that's hiding, that girl that's been so broken and bruised. Invite her in, and I hope you all started on at least writing that letter to yourself. And I gave an example of how my letter would look if I was writing to myself as if I was my bestie and inviting her back home. And when I say back home, back home. Okay? So I have a quote that I want us to say for the rest of the week, and I want somebody to put this in the chat. So I'm going to say it real slow. I am here. I showed up for myself today, and that matters. So put that in the chat. I am here. I showed up for myself today, and that matters. Somebody write that in the chat. This is not a monologue. This is a dialogue. So I like feedback. I like talking to people. I wish I could hear your voices. I really, really do. But it's okay. That's coming soon. That's coming real soon. I am here. I am here. Put that in the chat. I am here. I showed up for myself today, and that matters. And that matters. Put that in the chat for me, somebody. I am here. I showed up for myself today, and that matters. And then write, I am not starting over. I'm coming home. I'm not starting over. I'm coming home. Because when we think that we are starting over, it becomes like a tedious process. And then you start looking at all the things that you didn't do. When you think about starting over, all the stuff that you did do, it seems like the slate is wiped clean, and all the hard work that you put into it, it really, really kind of sometimes puts a damper on you trying to move and get up and move it again. So we're not starting over. We're just coming home. So I'm here. Tell yourself, I'm here. Say it loud. I'm here. I showed up for myself today. That matters. I'm not starting over. I am coming home. I am not starting over. I'm coming home. So when and how many of you know that when you change how you speak, it changes it changes your perception, because words are powerful. So if I keep telling myself, ladies, that I'm starting over, I'm starting over, I'm starting over, it kind of scratches out. It kind of deletes all the hard work that you have put in over the years, and it sometimes it makes it feel like it was for nothing, like all that hard work, all that pressure, all that sticking in there for everybody else, every hurdle that you had to jump over, every roadblock that you had to push out the way. When you say, oh, I'm starting over, you from square one again. We're not starting over. We're not starting over. We're coming home. But the key is that you're here and you showed up for you today. A lot of people are not going to get up at 5:30 in the morning. So that lets me know how hungry you are. And when you have that hunger to grow and that hunger to change, then transformation is right there on the horizon, okay? Cool, cool, cool. So today I want to talk about drift. What does that look like? Because a lot of times, when we begin to drift, we don't even realize that we are drifting. And I got tons and tons and tons and tons of notes, and I'm going to pull them out here. So if I look down, it's only because I write down a lot of stuff. It's the teacher in me. I write down a lot of stuff, and I just cannot always let it come from my head, because when you have a lot of content, I want to make sure, good morning, Marilyn, I want to make sure that you're getting the content and getting everything that I have to share within the 31 days. So we talked about the drift being, it is slow and it's often invisible, and it's a quiet erosion that happens over time through caregiving, through loss, through seasons that demand everything and has given nothing back. Right. So let's talk about the drift. So I want to define clearly what the drift is. So listen clear. So the drift is not a moment. The drift is not a moment, it is a direction. It is the slow, cumulative result of consistent placing everybody else's needs, everybody else's voices, and identities above your own. Did y'all catch that? Okay, until you can no longer hear your own voice at all. People say, what does that look like? It's putting everybody else's needs before your own. Now, there's nothing wrong with giving to people, but when we don't have the right boundaries in place, when we fail to say no, when we exhaust ourselves from trying to be everything to everybody, when we no longer have our own voice and everybody's voices become more important than yours, when identities are above your own identity, and now you no longer know who you are anymore, that's when you have drifted. Come on. When you look up and you're 30 and you're 40 and you're 50 and you're 60 and you're still trying to find yourself, that is an indication that somewhere along the lines, I don't care if it's your job, I don't care if it's ministry, I don't care if it's your home life, it's an indication that you have drifted somewhere. You have put, how they used to say, all of your eggs in one basket, and now when somebody has taken the basket, you no longer have any more eggs, right? And I'm just using that as an analogy. So today we're going to name four primary drift accelerators, because some things happen slow and some things accelerate the drift, and you don't even know that you have drifted off. You can start off running this race, I mean, really good. You got your goals in place, you got your journal in place, you got your mindset in place, and you start running in a way, or for God, or for your purpose, and then all of a sudden you get hit with so many things at the same time, and now you find find yourself busier than you used to be. You find yourself in so many things, and now you come home, you crash out, and it starts over and over, and you look up. 2, 3 years have gone past, and you ask yourself, what happened to the fire? What happened to the passion I had? Where's my voice? How come I don't speak up anymore? Why am I not as committed as I used to be? Why do I feel dull inside? And that's when those are indicators that you have drifted away. So there are 4 primary drift accelerators, and we're going to talk about those today. Somebody write in the chat roles. Roles, roles, roles. One of the roles, or a few of the roles, is mother, wife, daughter, caregiver, leader, employee. Every role makes a demand, right? So when roles multiply and consolidate into identity, the person disappears inside the function. Whoa, I said a big one right there. I'm going to say that again. So every role makes a demand. Every role that we play in life has a demand attached to it, yes or no, right. So when roles begin to multiply, anybody on this line or listening, do you have multiple roles that have multiplied in your life? And when the roles multiply, they consolidate into your identity. Now you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a caregiver, you're a leader in the church. Come on, and on your job, whatever you are, and now those roles have consolidated, and now we identify ourselves by those roles, and now the person inside begins to disappear, or the person disappears inside the function. Woo! Now you disappear inside of leader. You disappear inside of mother. You disappear inside of caregiver. You slowly withdraw, because your roles are so demanding. Now you identify yourself as the role, but not the woman that has to play the role. Oh, I said a whole lot. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. And I'm going to give you an example. So I got to turn my fan on. I'm hot. So I hope y'all don't hear it. So I want to talk about the role of the mother, and this is what. And I'm a mother, grandmother, and all of those things. So this is what I hear from most mothers. I put all of my time and effort into my children, and we should raise our children, but sometimes mothers don't have boundaries. And when a mother cultivates, because that's what we do, we cultivate, we raise up our children. Some do, most do, we should. We raise up our children, we nourish, we do those things, and we go to the meetings, we talk to the teachers, and we're the counselors and all of those things. And when you put yourself in that, when you place yourself, or you become a mother, sometimes we can get consumed in mothering. And even as they get older, we're still in that place of mothering, but we forget about the woman who is the mother. And then when they grow up and they start to leave the nest, we feel a type of way. Some mothers do feel a type of way, and some women tell me, my kids have gone off to college, my kids are doing these things, they don't need me like they used to. I don't know what to do with myself, because now the identity that I have disappeared into is no longer needed. Come on. Now the identity that I cultivated, the time that I put into this, now when they go off to college and they get their own friends, they start living their own lives and all of these things, I feel a type of way. I'm having a problem with it, because now the woman that has disappeared into the role is no longer, the role is no longer needed. Now I have to go and find the woman, and I don't even know what she looks like anymore, because I've been such a mother for years. I forgot about being the woman in the process of being the mother. Are y'all following me? Can I get a yes? Can I get a no? Are y'all following me? And so it's sometimes we don't even see drifting coming, because when you're a mother, you spend a lot of time when they're babies really growing them up. You spend a lot of time with the school system. You spend a lot of time school clothes shopping and making sure they have everything that they need. And then sometimes you barely get enough time to sleep, and then you have to go to work, and you got daycare, you got all of these things. But then you never, nobody ever talks to us about drifting, how that really looks, drifting away from who you are before you became the mother. And then there's the daughter role. You know, when you are in the role of the daughter, and you have somebody teaching, and you have somebody training you, but yet you have your own thoughts, you have your own mind, and there should be some boundaries even between mother and daughter, because there should be opportunities for daughters to grow. And then when you are a daughter, whether you're a natural daughter or a spiritual daughter, you can lose yourself even in that daughter role, because you expect mommy to do everything. And sometimes mothers have to allow their daughters and sons to grow up. But then if the mother doesn't realize that she's drifted, and the daughter doesn't realize they drifted, they're just bouncing off of each other. And then when the daughter goes off, she doesn't know how to live, she doesn't know how to survive without mommy, she doesn't know how to make decisions. Why? Because mommy has done it all, and she lost herself in the daughter role because she didn't allow herself to grow, because nobody talked about the girl that's in the daughter, or the woman that's developing in the daughter. Are you all following me? And that's how we begin to drift. And my favorite one is the caregiver. Y'all know how we like to care for everybody else, making sure everybody else is okay. When somebody needs something, I'm there. You need it, I got it. Come on, you got to go, I'm the one that's gonna do it. And the caregiver role. And sometimes when you start caring for your elderly parents, or you just have that compassion for people, you love people. But the care, when you start to drift, is when you love people more than you love yourself, which I try to think, how is that possible? How can you love people more than you love yourself, when you consume yourself with helping others, when everybody else's identity is more important than your own identity? You begin to drift. And sometimes, most of the times, caregivers, they have to come to that realization, because you can get burnt out in helping people, because you expect that same thing that you're giving, and when you don't get it in return, then you feel lonely, then you feel a type of way, then you feel, nobody loves you, and all of that stuff that goes with that. But then you have taken on that caregiver identity, and you disappear in the role. You disappear as you help others, because now you find comfort in helping others, but then when nobody else needs help, you feel lost, right? And then, of course, the leader. Wow, the leader. And this is just the roles. I'm just talking about the roles today. And then there's the leader role. You can be so caught up in it, and especially we do this in ministry, we do it in our jobs. You're the financial officer, you're the apostle, you're the pastor, you're the prophet, you're the evangelist, right? And there are high expectations, especially in the church, where people expect you to function on such a godly level. They forget that you are human. Come on. Sometimes they forget that you are a man, you are a woman, and that you have internal needs, you have heart needs of your own. But then when people get caught up in their roles, it's not so much what the people expect, it's the expectations that we place on ourselves to be these perfect leaders. And then we're leaders, I'm one too, we're hard on ourselves because we always pushing, always going, never saying no, always being there, always available, always preaching, always teaching, always pouring. Come on, somebody. And then when you lose a piece of yourself because now you're no longer, I'm gonna pick somebody's name, you're no longer Marilyn, you're no longer Nisa, you're no longer Cheryl, you're no longer Stephanie. You become the role. You become, oh, apostle, oh, a prophetess. You become that they identify you by the role or the mandate that you hold, instead of seeing the woman inside that's fulfilling the purpose or fulfilling the mandate. And we do that to ourselves when we look in the mirror. And sometimes when we get dressed, we don't see the woman getting dressed for work. We see the apostle or the prophet or the evangelist getting dressed for work, or we see the court manager or the liaison, or we see the nurse, or we see the doctor, and sometimes, like it says, we can get so consumed with the role, and placing everybody else's needs before ourselves, and now our voices and our needs, we identify ourselves as the role instead of who we are. I hope this is helping somebody. So those are the roles. So all of these roles, and then the employee, you are the employee. I know so many people that don't take off days. I don't even understand that one. Working 7 days a week, a great employee. You show up, you clock in, no off days, you're not sleeping, you're not eating well, the health goes bad. Why? Because now I have taken on the role of my job, because now they need me. And if I don't come to work, the whole building is going to fall apart. Come on. If I don't show up, if I take a day off, which I am allowed to take a day off, but if I take a day off, the line is going to shut down, and everything's going to shut down, and the building's going to fall apart. And we take on the role because sometimes we don't want to sit with ourselves and really, really think about who we are and what we're doing, and we slowly drift into those identities, right? So did y'all get that? So that is the role. So when roles multiply and consolidate into identity, the person disappears, or we disappear inside the function. There's We have these roles that we must play in life, but these roles are we're supposed to, they function, they have a certain specific part that they play in our lives, but we should not become the role. We should not be so engulfed in a mandate that you don't know why you're doing the mandate. Am I talking to you? We shouldn't be so engulfed in things that God has given us that we forget about God. Come on. That we're so busy doing good things that we drift from our own healing, and we drift from our own identity, that we don't know who we are. And we don't understand the drift until years have passed by, and now we look up and like, wow, who am I today? What am I doing? I've done this, and this, but why am I still hurting? I've done this, and this, but how come I'm not excelling? Why is there still a gap? Why do I still feel numb? Why are these things going on in my life? Why am I still craving? Why am I still craving joy? Why am I still searching for that happiness? Where's that peace? Where's that peace of mind, but yet peace of heart? Why can't I say no? Why can't I stop? Why do I have to keep going and going and doing till I feel burnt out? What is it in me that makes me keep going, but yet I'm disappearing while I'm helping everybody else. I'm disappearing in the function. I can function well. Some people say, "Ooh, I love chaos. I can function in chaos." That's right, because you have disappeared yourself in the things that you're functioning in. Come on. So these are the primary drift accelerators. These will accelerate the drift even the more, and then you look up and you're like, "Wow, what has happened?" And then number 2, relationships. Oh my God. Relationships that require you to sink. Did y'all see my lip go up like that? Relationships that require you to sink, perform, or disappear. Unhealthy attachments. Codependency. Codependency. The slow abandonment of self in service of belonging. And so I'm gonna talk about that just for a minute, because I can go a whole like week talking about that one. Relationships that require you to sink. I want to soak on that one. What? So somebody help me. Put that in the chat, ladies. What is a relationship that requires you to sink? That's heavy to me. You're a relationship that requires me to dumb down. A relationship that I'm in that steals my voice. A relationship that will not allow me to have my opinion. A relationship, come on, that destroys my identity. A relationship putting so much into this person where it requires so much of me that when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I don't know who I am. A relationship that requires you to sink will take you adrift really fast. It requires you to shrink and perform or disappear. A relationship that requires you to perform. Wow. A relationship that requires you to perform. How do we perform in relationships? It's shrink. I'm sorry, not sink. Shrink, dumb down, shrink. Ungodly relationships. Do you know there are some godly relationships that will cause you to shrink? When people, you got people in God that are not healed, and you can connect with some people in God, but yet their heart is not healed, and then the motive is wrong, and that's why you got a lot of church hurt. Oh boy, I tell you, I don't want to get church, but I can go there. We can go there, because it's so much, church hurt that people don't even like to trust in the church anymore. They don't like opening up. They don't like building friendships. They don't like building relationships. And, sometimes the body of Christ can become so cliquish because we get so used to the people that we're around. And after we build those relationships, when it's safe, it's like that. We don't want to branch out and talk to people and do all that. We want to stay right here in the bubble because it's safe. That's because somewhere along the line a relationship has caused you to shrink, and now the trust level is not there anymore. Marilyn said a relationship that you go over and above for without seeking God. Yes, a relationship, the ungodly relationships. Marlena, yes, Marlena, yeah. I'm telling you, relationships that require you to shrink. Or those relationships that and also requires you to perform, and it says or disappear. How do you perform in a relationship? That means you're going through the motions. When you are performing, you're going through the motions. A relationship where you have lost yourself and you're just showing up, but you're not in it. You're just showing you're here because you're here, but you're putting 75, you're putting 30% or 40%. You're not even 50% in a relationship. You've done it so much that it's mechanical. You're performing. Anybody ever, going through the motions. Thank you, Elder Nisa. Thank you, Apostle. You dummy down. You dumb down to keep the peace. You become passive aggressive. You don't say how you feel because you don't want the backlash. You're performing. You're performing as a wife, performing as a husband. You're just performing because somewhere along the line, somebody or something has caused you to shrink. You came in it like this. But slowly cause you. And it doesn't happen. Drifting doesn't happen overnight. It's slow. It's a slow erosion of self. It's a slow process. And it takes years sometimes. And then you look up and you're like, what happened? And when you look back, why did I put up with that? Why did I deal with this? Where was my mindset over here? Right? Right? Let's move on. And it's, let me see, shrink, perform, or disappear. Tell me, y'all put it in the chat. How does somebody disappear in a relationship? How can you be in a relationship but yet invisible? Ooh! How can you be in a relationship but yet you're disappearing? You ever seen the movie The Invisible Man? How can you be in a relationship but yet invisible? Because you have drifted away from your own identity. I'm gonna read that again. A drift is not a moment, it's a direction. It is a slow, communicative result of consistent placing someone else's needs, voices, and identities above your own until you can no longer hear your own voice at all. You disappear when you can't even hear your voice. You drift. You know you've drifted when your own voice has no value. When your voice doesn't mean anything anymore. When you put everybody else's voice above your own. And I'm not telling you to go out and do your own thing, and all of that. No, I'm talking about when you are built up as the woman that you're supposed to be. Your opinion should matter. Your thoughts, they mean something. Your voice is powerful. And when you no longer understand that God created you with that voice that is creative, that voice that has power, that voice that has that change, that voice that will shake the nations. When you rely on other people's voices and you can't even rely on your own, you've drifted. Woo! Marlena said, turning off the discernment. Nisa says, shut down. When you go silent. That's how you disappear. When you no longer talk about what you like and what you enjoy, and it's all about what they like and what they enjoy. When you I want to say sacrifice what makes you happy to make them happy, you've disappeared. You disappear. These are some drift accelerators, because an accelerator, anybody drive fast and you hit the accelerator, it speeds up. We drift in life because of things and doing and going, but there are certain things that are drift accelerators that will take you really fast on a road that you don't even know you're going down. Codependency. That's a quick one in relationships. Codependency. What does it mean to be codependent? Really quick, codependent is you find your value in everybody else. You find you get fulfilled in other people. You have to you have to be able to give. You have to be able to sow. You have to be able, they need you so you can feel valued. That's codependent. I need you to need me. I need you to pull on me. I need you to give me everything that I'm looking for. I got to feel that you need me, because the moment you don't need me, then I don't know who I am. I feel lost and all that. That's codependency. That's a quick accelerator to drift, because you're placing your value, your identity in somebody else. Is this helping somebody this morning? Are we getting refreshed? Oh God, are we getting refreshed? You lose yourself. I like that, Monica. You lose yourself when you get married and become mothers. Yes, you do. You really do. When you become a wife, if you don't have the boundaries in place, when you become a mother, if you don't have the boundaries in place, if you don't keep yourself encouraged, if you don't keep yourself built up as a woman, you will identify only as his wife, her mother, his mother. You'll only identify yourself as the apostle, the prophetess. You'll only identify yourself as the church or part of the church. We do the spiritual things, right? We preach, we teach, we warfare, we pray, we do all of those things, but we don't deal with the human side of us that's drifting away. That's what the refreshing is, because underneath the apostle, come on, underneath the pastor, underneath the evangelist, underneath the wife, underneath the daughter, there's a woman that has lost her voice. There's a woman that needs to be encouraged. There's a woman that needs to understand who she is before all the roles became in her life, right? Right? Am I talking to codependency? Stephanie said codependency can end you up in some very, very, I'm going to put very, very, very dark places. Amen. Apostle Cheryl said, wanting to feel a part of something, wanting to always be a part of something. When you drift, you look for validation. That hit me. You always look for validation. You look to be loved. You look for the acknowledgement. You just look for it. Why? And you give because you want to hear that back. Why? Because you don't feel it. You don't feel it. You can't even fathom it. You can't even acknowledge it. Underneath all of the roles that we play, there's a woman, there's a young girl that is crying out for somebody, save me. I'm losing myself. Say, I don't even have a voice at 60. Save me from all of these roles that I feel that I have to play, and some roles I should play, but I don't have the balance to continue playing. Y'all come on this morning. Y'all know I got to go to work. I'm telling you, drifting. That's why we have to be refreshed. And the only way you get refreshed is understanding how it happened. Oh, we're going to get in. This 31 days of refreshing is going to be phenomenal. Like I said, what I want to do is every morning come on, have you get refreshed, but have a Zoom. I want to have a Zoom this Friday with those that would log on and go ahead and hit the link and register. It's free because it's some personal things that need to be tapped into that you just should not say online, right? This is good. I'm telling you, this is good. Social media, great, but there's a time where we need a safe place to come together. I'm going to see if I can find that really fast on my computer so I can post that link in the chat for you all. But we need a safe place that we can come to. And what I want to do is twice a month, I want us to come together on a Zoom call, and just have those conversations that we can share with one another. I'm gonna post this up here. that we can come together, but really, really dig into those heart issues, those things that, and I'm not talking about get on there and talk about people and, share your business. I'm talking about really, really coming together, and that's what Women of Vision Global Network is all about, and developing that sisterhood. Not you over here, you over here, you over here, you are coming together and really, really talking about some of the issues that why we have drifted off so much. So go ahead and hit the link and register. It's absolutely free, people, because when people say I want you to register, first thing they think is money. People shy away. It's free. Come on and hit the link. This is part of my mandate of what I should have been doing, and God is pushing me. He got his, I want to say, his foot on my neck, like, come on, it's time. And so this is not just my gift to you, but this is my gift to me. The reset, I'm telling you, I needed to reset. I needed a refreshing. And in my refreshing, go and refresh others and show them how. So go ahead and make sure that you hit the link. And then I want to talk about really fast and lastly, because I have about two or three more to talk about, the slow abandonment of self in service of belonging. The slow abandonment of self. How do we put it in the chat? Somebody, and you don't have to get all in depth, but how have you, give me an area where you have abandoned yourself? Just a little bit. The slow, because abandonment of self, oh, I ain't abandoned myself. When you really, really talk to women, there are some areas that they have forgot about. The slow abandonment of self in service of belonging, because we people want to belong to things. We are wired like that. Did you all know that we are wired to connect? We are wired to unify. And when we don't get the connection or the unifying that we so are wired for, we long for that belonging. And in longing to belong, we end up sometimes unifying and connecting with the wrong or unhealthy thing. And then we abandon ourselves because what they have to offer is attracting. And so what, and then when I abandon myself, when we abandon ourselves, that means what I have important, or what I deem is important to me, is no longer important. So what you doing is more important than what I gotta do. So I'm gonna abandon what I gotta do. So I'm gonna go over here because I got that need to belong. And then over here, I gotta belong. So I'm not gonna do what I gotta do. I'm not gonna feel the way I wanna feel. I'm not gonna say what I wanna say. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna play the role and I just wanna be a part, because I had that need, that slow abandonment of self. So place it in the chat. That slow abandonment. What have you abandoned in yourself for? What area? Sometimes it's business. Sometimes God can give you a business, but yet you continue working for somebody else and not happy in the job. But if I leave, my people, I can't leave my peeps. I can't leave my people. I can't go over here. I don't, my vision, it's okay, but I'm gonna stay over here with this vision. I'm gonna help over here, but I really don't have, a particular type of ministry. I'm gonna abandon, my dreams and my thoughts and all of those things. And I don't even want anybody to help me. The things that we tell ourselves to make us feel comfortable about our decisions in either not being committed or being stagnant. We can talk ourselves into stagnation. Anybody ever talk themselves into being stagnant? Not. Don't put the cart before the horse. Don't, not just yet. I'm gonna read the chat real fast. Apostle Cheryl said, a safe place to reset. Raspberry Renee said, I know that's right. Stephanie said, start feeling like I didn't deserve certain things. Absolutely. abandoned self. You start feeling like that you just, it wasn't coming, so I don't deserve it, so why even try? Abandon, the slow abandonment of self in service of belonging. Wow, 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 wow. And then trauma, big or small, right? Nisa says self worth. So I like that. So I like those two. I like it all. I think my health is a part of issues. Yeah. Sometimes your health can be a part of how much effort you put into it. I remember when I was going through my health battles and couldn't walk as fast as I wanted to walk and couldn't do certain things, and it makes you want to disappear. It makes you disappear. And I remember I had a dear friend, um, and she has always been sick all of her life, and it was around that time the Lord was getting ready to take her, and I went to go see her at the hospital, and this was a season where some of the people in my life were leaving, and when people leave out of your life and you know God is taking them home, I tend to have conversations with them and, just grab the nuggets while they're here. And I remember sitting in the hospital room with her and asking her, how she felt. And she was like, sis, I got one regret. And I said, what's that one regret? She said, I prayed all of these years for God to heal me so I could move when I should have been moving anyway in the pain. She said, I could have done it, but I spent more time praying about healing and less time moving. Now I wish I could move when I had the opportunity to move, and now I can't move at all. And now he's getting ready to call me home. That was my, she said, that was my one regret, that I spent most of my years praying for healing when I should have been moving in the process of praying. And that blew, and that has been years. That blew me away. That blew me away. How we can lose ourselves sometimes, even when our bodies don't want to cooperate. I'm gonna put it like that. Or when things don't want to cooperate, and we want to sit down, we don't want to move, and we disappear, whatever it is. And that helped me. I'm not saying that for everybody else, but that helped me to stay on that beaten path and keep going and going and going. Like I just got to keep moving in spite of. And then Nisa says self-worth. Merlin said not taking accountability for people's actions. Believe everyone has your best interest, right? Believing everybody has your best interest, which they don't. Most people don't have your best interest at heart. But here's the key: we have to have our best interest at heart. We are the ones that have to have the discernment. We are the ones that have to know what's safe and what's not, what's healthy and what's not. But when we disappear and we don't build who we are as women or our identity, can I tell you something? When you don't know who you are, people will not have a problem giving you an identity. They will not have a problem telling you who you are or shaping you in who they want you to be. So we have to, as women, it's not about the role, it's the woman that has to play the role. It's not about the mandate, it's the woman that has to fulfill the mandate. But if the woman doesn't know who she is, how can she do it effectively and efficiently? So we always look for other people or to tell us who we are, to tell us what we need to be doing, when just think, if we kind of came in it knowing who we are and what we need to do, it would make the mandate a little smoother. It would make the relationships a little bit stronger. But when you got some women that are just insecure, don't know who they are, they try to come together. You got to fight through all the unhealthy stuff before you can have a healthy relationship. And that's why we need to be refreshed. That's why we just need to be refreshed, because some of us have gone adrift. A lot of people, some people might have it all together. If you have it all together, everybody start clapping for those that got it all together. You got it all together. You got it down what you want and all that. Hats off to you. Hats off to you. But sometimes life can take some people on a journey that, and life is gonna life. You can't stop that. People say stop saying life is gonna life even in God. Guess what? Even in God, life is going to life. Things are going to happen that sometimes they just happen. But where you don't lose yourself in the process. So today we talked about drifting, and we define the drift clearly. So somebody place in the chat, what's your takeaway from today? We got about 5 minutes before we wrap up, because we're going to be here every single morning for 31 days of refreshing. And I'm just on drift. And I tell you, I want you all to register and show up for the Zoom, because we're going to get in depth in some things. Like I said, it's free. Come on and show up. Come on and click the link. I want these women. This is I really want you to understand who you are as a woman before you were called, and all of those things, that healing that little girl inside, healing that woman. Some things is not even childhood. Some things made us go adrift after we got grown. Woo! Some things, it's the woman. It's the woman that needs her identity back. Raspberry Renee said, letting my health stagnate me. Cheryl said, separating selflessness and self and not feeling guilty about it. My. Oh, come on, put it in the chat. What was your greatest takeaway today before we conclude? Go ahead and put it in the chat. And I'm going to define drifting again. The drift is not a moment. It's not a moment. It's a direction. It is a slow commutative result of consistently placing someone else's needs, voices, and identities above your own, until you can no longer hear your own voice at all. Ladies, we are finding our voice. Ladies, it's time to shine. Ladies, it's time to get your life back. Ladies, it's time to figure out who you really are so you can thrive. This is the refreshing. Raza, anybody else, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I want you all to make sure that you hit the link, and just sign up for the Zoom. I'm not going to offer it to every single person. They have to register. Registration is free. Every morning I'll get on here, and I'm going to just keep throwing nuggets at you all for 31 days in the refreshing. But it's the Zooms where we're going to process. We're going to do some things. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk and different things like that. And I do have some freebies for you. I did write a book, but I'm not gonna release it yet till after the 31 days, because I'm gonna be pulling out of the book that I wrote. And it's called, I'm gonna get my stuff. It's called the refreshing your invitation back to you. The refreshing that your invitation back to you. But I'm not gonna release it yet. I'm gonna have a book. It's a book, workbook, journal, all of those things. But I'm only going to start teaching out of it on the Zoom. So if you want the freebies and the good stuff, you got to click the Zoom link, and we're going to have some fun, ladies. Merla said, learning not to stay stagnant, but move and go forward. Yes, ma'am. Monica, my role don't define who I am. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to play my song as we conclude here. Love you all. God bless you all. Have a wonderful and an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Be blessed. Stephanie says, finding my place. I'm Apostle Stacy Johnson, and I will see you tomorrow morning. This is the refreshing. Have a wonderful and an awesome day. And lastly, but not least, I want to honor my husband, Apostle Frank Johnson, for his support, his love, and his encouragement. I know he sleeps right now, but he'll hit the replay. I know he will. And I know he'll post in the chat
I
but it's
carry
always
weight they said
important
I
to have
couldn't
somebody
hold.
in your life that loves you.
Turned
God
all my
bless you.
bruises into bars of gold. They tried to write me out like my story was done, but I penned my own chapters. I'm the chosen one. Had tears on my pillow, doubt in my chest, but God put a fire. Said I'm built for the test. Now I walk in my purpose. Heels on the ground. Every step is a victory. I'm turning it around. I've been knocked down. I've been knocked down. But I rise every time. Storms can't break me. They just sharpen my mind. Ain't no mountain too high. No valley too wide. I'm a woman on a mission. Watch me claim what's mine. You can't stop my shine. You can't stop my shine. I see my sisters, we've been carrying pain, but still we glow different when we dance in the rain. No chains on our dreams, no limits in sight. We gon' build up the future, yeah, we taking what's right. I ain't just surviving, baby, I'm gon' thrive. My hustle got wings, my vision alive. From the ashes I rose, turn my scars into flame. Now the world gonna remember my name. I've been knocked down, but I rise every time. Storms can't break me, they just sharpen my mind. Ain't no mountain too high, no valley too wide. I'm a woman on a mission, watch me claim what's mine. Can't stop my shine. Dreams don't die, they just wait to be born. Even when I'm tired, I keep pressing on. Every no I heard just push me to fight. I'm the proof that the struggle births light.